those of you who have an MSDN Windows Azure account can put in a request, and I believe they are provisioning new requests right now for preview. Naturally, there are no SLAs during the preview period. And if your request takes longer than a day or two, drop me a mail. I'll see if something can be done. But let me just show you. Creating a virtual machine is as simple as click on the Create a Virtual Machine. I can do a quick create. And in the quick create, naturally, I have SQL Server 2012, SQL Server 2008, and Windows Server without SQL Server. What is interesting is stuff that's available from other vendors, integrated into the management portal from the gallery. So apart from the 3 Microsoft images, we already have 4 more images. And all I need to do is click on one of these, and it will take about 15-20 minutes naturally because the machine is being provisioned. So what we'll do is instead of my running this, Dave,
I'll do the blue feature thing. Here's what I created earlier. This won't look so well for everyone online. I believe there's a bit of a lag of a couple of seconds, so sort slowly. Maybe you want to watch this piece flows online later on when you download the recording of this. So the idea is, I'll get the bit where because of that he's going to go new. This guy clicked around a lot. He's going to go new. He is going to go new in a minute. He'll go new. Remind me to cut this down a bit. New. There you go. Out of interest, the paradigm of new is the same regardless whether you're doing a new virtual machine or a database or a piece of storage. It's new. It's the same, same view. So this is the piece that I just showed you. And there's from the library. So this guy's going to pick the SQL box. I did speed this up a bit to try and make it a lot less than 15 minutes. I think it lasts about 3. So he selects the SQL box eventually, after showing you how you can read the text on the right-hand side. He clicks the SQL box and presses next. Press next. Gives it a name. And that name is restricted to 15 characters, same as on a good old Windows server name. So he deliberately has a long name. It tells him it's too long. He shortens it back again. The default user on a Windows box is administrator, so he's giving it the administrative password. Next, next, next. And he's going to pick the size of his VM. So small is one core, 1.75 gigs. Medium's double that. Large is double again. Extra large is double again. And there's extra small, which is half the small one. You pick where do you want it. And you give it a DNS name. So this name has to be unique on the planet. It's going to be something at cloudapp.net. This is how you're going to connect to it remotely. Availability sets, so how far back in time do you want to go back to? Do you keep snapshots? That kind of idea. And once it's spun up, and this is where we reduce the time between the time lag, this is now running. So it went from provisioning to running in a few seconds. And then what he can do, I'll move that mouse there out of the way. See what's going on. He can RDP to it. So it's just normal RDP connection. He connects, gives it the administrative password, and logs into his box, and carries on as normal. So that's my normal out-of-box experience on a Windows box. Out of interest, because it's a Hyper-V box, you can do hot add of storage on a Windows server. So you can go in and add more disks, more VHDs to that online running box. So in that instance, he's added a big disk, and I believe he goes back in and just shows you what it looks like when it comes back in. Because we do hot add, kind of relevant. You've probably seen hot add before. If he sits there and watches it, eventually you'll get a disk popping in. There you go. The interesting piece is then, so the disk C is the VHD that you've booted that virtual machine from. It's persistent. Okay? Machine goes, it comes back again. There's a temporary storage piece there. The stuff that's going to not be persistent, and then there was his third VHD that's on blob storage. So that's how easy it is for a Windows box. There you go. So from a Linux platform, going into new, and he's going to pick a platform image and pick, I forgot which one he does, CentOS. There you go. It's exactly the same. It's next, 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 finish, gives it a name, gives it a username. So rather than a default root username for admin, it's going to give it something else, because you can. Gives it the administrative password. Going to work out what to do with SSH key. So how's he going to authenticate using a key for SSH? What size does he want to do? globally unique name for World Linux One. He was obviously the first guy in Microsoft to do a Linux box. And again, it's just speeds it up and it will provision it very quickly, and then he's going to connect to it. Like we've made it really easy to do. I think next, finish for everything from creating a virtual machine, whether it be Windows or Linux, to creating virtual networks, to doing databases, to doing everything. We've made it really sweet. It's nice, and he goes in and connects to it. So that was the end of that little demo.
Such details and standard what people. So Linux is a first class citizen.
Yes, first class citizen would be a good description of that. Yeah, go on. What are we going to talk to you quickly next? So Vickers mentioned the popular Microsoft Server applications. So what we've done, this is kind of the ones we currently tested and therefore we currently support in quotes. And I Vickers did say that all the time we're in the CTP, the Customer Technology Preview, which is what we've announced now. There is no support, but we've got full support for running SQL Server databases up there, for running Active Directory up there. So we'll get to the networking piece in a minute. You can make the boxes running in Azure be logically part of your on-premise network. So we might all have our own networks of 192.168.1. whatever. We can all have those exactly the same, and we can all have our own little private network up in Azure with the same networking, but we've virtualized the network space so that they're yours, and you can run Active Directory up there as well. So for a small business now, you don't need to even have Active Directory. So I think Office 365 in the cloud for your productivity stuff, we used to say small business server to do your authentication and stuff. Now it's Active Directory in the cloud, line of business applications up in Azure, and maybe a file and print server. That's a small business scenario, a file and print box, and that's all they ever need. Okay. SharePoint is a supported one. Then the list will just grow. The list will just grow, and so you'll get more and more. So just to summarise that, so on the right-hand side is what we've always done. So the web role and the worker role, that's going to be the same. So if you're designed for platform as a service, which is what we're trying to get everyone to at the end of the day anyway, because it gives you that massive scalability. 1,000 servers per hour costs the same as one server for 1,000 hours. If you want it done quickly, have 1,000 servers per hour. Costs the same much. Just put more workload, more boxes to it. So the right-hand side hasn't really changed, but the left-hand side is the interesting piece, okay? So it's about migrating existing applications. I have an on-premise application that's maybe running, if it's not already running on Hyper-V, get it on Hyper-V, do a P2V to get it to be a virtual hard disk, and then just copy it up and run it. Dev and test is going to be a real sweet, we think. I need a few boxes for a while, do some test and dev on, off you go. We're doing backup to the cloud. You do all down the list. We announced it with Windows Server 2012 that one of the backup options is backing straight up to Azure, which is kind of sweet. And then it's kind of hybrid cloud solution. I have a bit of a cloud on-premise. I'm using a bit of cloud from someone like BT or Black Knight or DigiWeb or someone like that. I can also use some resources up in Azure. So it's kind of where do you want to run your workload today is a phrase I'm trying to coin, but no one seems to bite on that one, but they'll get there yet.